And welcome to another exciting microprocessor lab. We're just going to do a review and try and do an extra help session for people who are still kind of stuck with the project. Just to review, you were supposed to download the DTMF generate.zip code, unpack it. If you've been following along, you can see what I've been doing in terms of development. I created a separate DAC class, so you could make an instance of a DAC, and then I gave it a couple of write facilities, one for 8-bit writes and the other for 16-bit writes. I gave it a header file, and then I created a DTMF class, and then this DTMF class had its own header file, which had a constructor, and you know it's a constructor because it returns nothing, not even void, and has the same name as the class. This one takes no arguments. Corresponds to a method called DTMF, which is defined with : so it can be used from within a C program. So the C program will see it as a simple method invocation. This foils the so-called name mangling, which occurs when classes are compiled, because name mangling will take methods and convert them into functions, and then invoke them through the linker, because it's a standard C linker. But that, Java doesn't have this problem, right? Because Java is meant for classes from the ground up. So in my initialization of the class, I created a wave table instead of typing in all the numbers by hand, which makes no sense to nobody. But that's the way the example code ran. And then using the wave table, I was creating, I'll just make a note in here just so that people will know. The wave table will be a set of numbers that range from 0 to 1 to 7. And so how do we know that? Well, the sign ranges from -1 to +1. We added 1, so it ranges from 0 to 1 inclusive, goes all the way up to 1. We multiply by 63. What does that give you? 2 times 63, right? So that's 126 or something, isn't it? 2 times 63. Just checking. Yep. So instead of 127, it goes from 0 to 126, which is 127 different levels. And then what we're doing down in here, the reason why we stop at 126 is we're adding wavetables to wavetables. So when we go out to get two different tones, we're taking from two different places in the wavetable. Here initially we start from the same point, so it doesn't matter. But later what we're going to be doing is we're going to be calling generate, and generate is over here. And what it does is, let's see if we can find another place where it says write DAC. Find write DAC. It's got to be in here somewhere. Here it says generate output. So where is generate output? That's got to be in here somewhere. Oh, it's in the DAC, I guess. Nope, it's not. It's in DTMF. Good. Let's look for generate output. I hate the way this thing is set up. Generate output. There it is. And so now he's taking wave instance and pointing it to wave generator. And I'm just looking at this wave generator. There's got to be, oh, here it is. I knew there was another DAC right somewhere, and there it is. So that's what we're doing is we're adding the wavetable to the wavetable. I honestly don't understand why this didn't show up last time I did a DAC right. So if you were adding something that went to 126 to 126, then you would get another number which is just shy of 255. So 126 times 2 would be something like 252, which would be okay. So that gives you a little headroom relative to the 255 full value of a byte. Because it's 0 to 255, not 256. So that's almost the whole dynamic range of a byte. So that's why we're using a wavetable that's not quite half of 255, because we're doubling things when we add them together. We changed the positioning in order to jump through the sine wave and change the frequency. So we have to mix the low and high frequencies to get the dual tone. And so that's that. Let's see. Somewhere in here, there's this audio shield INO. So here's your main. And he's computing baud rate and bit rate based on an idea that the number of symbols per second is going to be multiplied by the number of bits per symbol, and that'll give you the bit rate. And since there's 4 bits per symbol, assuming every symbol is equiprobable, then what we do is, let's see if we can get this to work. Actually, you know what? I think it's running now. Serial monitor. And there it is. It's running now. And we can crank the volume a little bit so we can hear it. So that's 9 symbols per second with 4 bits per symbol, which I can now speed up to the ungodly rate of 55 symbols per second. And now I'm going to turn down the volume because it's driving me nuts. And so that's that. Some people complained that they weren't able to make a recording of the video with their picture on it because they didn't have a video camera, and you couldn't actually see your turning of the knob because they don't have a video camera. I think that's okay. Do it without the video camera. Don't let that hang you up. If you got the video camera and you can show it at the same time you're doing the demo, that's fine. If you don't, you don't. That's okay. What else can I answer for you guys? Where are you stuck?
Professor, my keywords.txt file doesn't exist, so I can't change any of the keywords.
Well, let's have a look. If we go to Sketch, show Sketch folder, I have a keywords file which I created, which has, I don't know. You don't need keywords to make this project complete. You can get 100 without doing keywords. I do keywords because I think it makes it nice. What is nice about this is, what do you mean nice? What's nice? Well, somewhere in here, DTMF is being invoked. And so here is DTMF, but you can sort of see that's an instance. But here's the actual class, and that came up as a keyword. So the lowercase version did not. The uppercase version did. Now, here comes the question. What happens if it's in a comment? DTMF. Oh, yeah. So it recognized. It's smart enough to know that DTMF is a keyword because it's now a data type that's defined in the in the keywords.txt. Now, if you were to change this to foo and then save it and then went back over here, nothing happens. Right? Because why? Well, because you got to quit and restart and do a thing with the save and then you save it. And then when you restart this darn thing again, in theory, the keyword will have changed. Foo will be the new keyword, not DTMF. And therefore, if I'm right and I have this correct, if, no, you see, it's getting its keyword from something else. I'll bet you there's an installed library already, which probably means I've installed this once already and it's seeing the keywords, which probably means, yeah, I already installed this once. So I've got to uninstall it for the keywords to disappear. That's what I get for mucking about with the system. Probably the thing to do then would be to, well, uninstall the DTMF library, which means I'd have to go in here and then I have to go find that location, show sketch folder. And then I have to go in here, example, master, and you see he's got his own keywords, right? So then to delete that library, I'd have to go into DTMF gen, delete it, and here it is again. And I got it in a couple of places. Isn't this fun? It's good to delete it if you're going to be doing some kind of development. So now if I empty the trash and then quit out of this and start it again, maybe that'll work better. And by better, what I mean is it will no longer see DTMF as a proper key. See, now we're talking. So this is a classic problem in software engineering. You get two libraries with identical names and they overlay one another, and nobody knows who's invoking what. This is a big problem. Big problem in software engineering. You do not want to have two different libraries with identical names. We've seen this happen with the NRF24L01 several times. Some people will come up with an RF24 library, which they call a branch from the original library, where they fix all the bugs, but they don't change the name and they don't change the classes. And you're never sure what you're running. And if you change what you're loading, you end up kind of not knowing what you're running. And this is a big problem. So here, at least I know what I'm running. It's in keywords.txt. If I go in and I change this to DTMF and hit save and close. Now I've got to go back in here and say, yeah, it didn't update yet. I got to quit. Then I got to restart. And then we should see the keywords update. So this is part of the charm of working with the Arduino IDE, I guess. Call it a feature if you like. That's probably being generous because look, it didn't even work this time. I thought I had updated that. Didn't I update it? Maybe I forgot to save. But the idea behind this is that it should have worked, even if it didn't. Let's go back to this and see show sketch folder keywords. Yeah, I mean that's in there, right? DTMF, it's in there. Why didn't it update? Don't know. I did a save, didn't I? Save. Maybe I didn't. Let's quit out of this now. Then I got to quit out of this. And I go back. Let's just open this. If it's not seeing the keywords this time, I must have a problem understanding how this IDE works, which is possible. I thought I knew. Nope, not working. So there's something wrong with my understanding on how this works because the keywords aren't even working here, and they should do. I didn't expect that they would update without a restart, but I thought they would update after that. So my understanding on this is incorrect, apparently. Are other people having trouble with keywords?
I only have 3 keywords
Are the keywords
for some
showing up
reason.
as highlighted as they should be?
No, not a
They're
single
not.
one of them.
Wow. Okay. So other people are having troubles with keywords too. I had thought I had a good understanding of keywords, but I guess I don't. Now, having said that, I should tell you that this is very much an Arduino IDE issue. This is not an issue that you would see in other um, IDEs. And certainly it's not a C or a C++ issue. It's an Arduino IDE issue. So I guess I should just search on keywords. Make sure that things, no results. Really? That's fun. In any case, it's a non-issue for me. I don't care if you guys have keywords that work or not. Apparently, I can't get the keywords to work either. So there. I'm not sure why the keywords are giving us such a hard time. Let's see now. Hide the floating meeting controls. All right. So forget the keywords. They're not working for whatever reason. Maybe I have to install it as a library before they work. I'm not sure. But in any case, don't worry about it. I'll look into that. In fact, what I'll do, tell you what we're going to do. I'll make a note of it, and I'll do this offline, and we'll solve the keyword problem because this is the first I've looked into keywords deeply. Any other questions? So bottom line on the keywords, forget about it. I just thought it was making life nice, but in fact, it made life complicated. So if it makes your life hard, don't worry about keywords. They don't seem to be working the way we think they should, which means we don't understand how they work, or I don't understand how they work. Did anybody else get keywords to work? Got enough brains looking at this thing. No, nobody got keywords to work. Oh, that's very sad. This is the first I'm hearing about it. So I guess I had them working when I installed it as a library. Maybe it needs to be in a special place before they'll see them. I don't know. Let's try some other questions. Anybody else having any other issues with this code? So you know this is due at the end of the day, right? I'm going to go and I'm going to review your deadlines for you just one more time. Your final is due on the 17th. Some people have already asked me for extensions on this final project, but we've been working on this for, I don't know, 2 weeks. The final project is due on the 9th, which is today. It's due at the end of the day. And do the best you can with it. If it doesn't work, please do mention the fact that it didn't work. So we don't spend a lot of time trying to get it to work. And we're going to need some time to get it to work, which is why there's no extensions. There's too many different projects that have to be downloaded and compiled and tested. And that's a time-consuming thing. So let's just... Yes, sir.
Where can we find your recorded lectures again? Sorry.
Recorded lectures are available under courseware in docjava.com. Right at the top, microprocessors, and you click on that, and this has all the lectures stashed away. And here's a bunch of DTMF lectures right in through here. I think we had a class on Monday. This would have been the class on Thursday. I guess. Let me just look at my calendar and see. When was the 3rd? 3rd was the Thursday, and the Tuesday, well, let's see, Wednesday prior would have been the 2nd, and then oh yeah, that's there. There's the DTMF review. I think a lot of people missed that one. And then there was the 11:30. That would have been Monday prior. So with the lab review here, in principle, you should be able to go and see what we did last week. And then this should just play. Yeah, they didn't. A lot of people didn't tune in for
Okay,
some
thank you.
reason, and so then that's there. That's recorded. And after about an hour with just what we had, I think one person or so, I said, okay, and no more questions, and that's it. And everybody understood what to do, and yep, all fine. And so that's it. And this has got a small typo in it. Any other questions? Are you able? Go ahead.
So I know the assignment is only for sine waves, but if we want to add other sounds along with the sine waves, can we add a for loop to sort through different functions? So like it'll play the sine function, then the cosine function, a tangent function, and then the subsequent functions.
I wouldn't
repeat
bother.
itself?
Don't knock yourself out doing interesting things right now, because if we can just get this final project to work, you'll be able to move on and work on the final, because the final has got to be your next priority. So I wouldn't bother. If you can, see if you can, break up the code a little bit so that you have a separate DAC class from your DTMF class. If you are able to, I can't think of a better way to break up the DTMF class. It seems like the DTMF class should have been broken up, but I'm not convinced there's a good way to do that without making it more complicated than it is. This case statement bothers me for some reason. It feels like a bad smell, but I just don't know if there's a better way to deal with it. Let's see what else we got here. We kind of fixed the jumping frequencies to the interrupt rate. So that's kind of a bad smell too, I suppose. And the wavetable size is something that, it's practically hard coded into the system. If you were to change the clock from 10 kilohertz to, make up a number, 100 kilohertz, I probably want to change the sample size and change all the other things and table jumps. I mean, everything is kind of hard coded in this, and that makes it a little bit inflexible. But other than that, I don't see too much troubles. The mapping of one symbol into two frequencies, I'm kind of wondering if that shouldn't have been done as kind of like a data structure of some sort, but I didn't want to get into it. This is nice and procedural, and what'll happen is you'll get a scalar number in here for the key. That's actually a character. And then it'll generate, any compiler worth its salt, it's going to generate a jump table. So you'll jump to the address that corresponds to this key. And that shouldn't take more than a small fixed overhead in the an opcode, essentially, one CPU cycle. So it's not like an if then else case statement, which, if it's this, then that, and if it's the other thing, then this, and then the average execution time is half the number of dispatches. This kind of a dispatch is very efficient. So from an efficiency point of view, don't think you can get better than a switch statement. This is just going to dispatch instantly to the right location. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this idea, right? Because if you think about it, if case 1, then do 1, else if case 2, and do 2, ... Average execution time, if there's 100 cases, will be like a dispatch that compares 50 of them, assuming they're all equiprobable. Whereas a switch, TCH, is executed in small constant time. So all it's going to do is it's going to come up with a an address that it's going to jump to, and then it will proceed to execute, and then break will immediately cause it to fall out to the bottom, so it'll stop. The funny thing about these case statements is they're designed to execute everything that follows if you don't have a break, which I felt was an unreasonable default. But it is the way Java works too, as well as C and C++ and C#. So whether or not we feel it's a reasonable default, it's how the language got implemented. A decision I cannot defend, but I didn't make either. So we just live with it. What other questions might you have? Is everybody kind of done with the project?
Do you want us to submit the folder, or do you want us to copy each individual code into a Word document, labeling which part it's from?
Your submission will consist of a zip file with your code, an audio file or video file with the audio created by your program. If you cannot get things to run properly, please mention this in your submission so we do not spend much time getting things to run. So I guess what I would do is I would sort of capture the screen, put the video into a file, and then add the zip. I'll give you an example, just not to put too fine a point on it. I'll run QuickTime. I'll do a new screen recording, and I'll just hit OK, click full screen recording, and I'll go blah, 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 da, 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 da. It all works good. Okay, here it is. Now we're done. Then I do save, and it gets saved as a QuickTime movie, and I'll say final project, put it into a little document of some sort. I don't know where to put it, maybe under attachments. Final project, hit save, and then quit out of QuickTime. So now I've saved everything, including the audio that narrates it, and I reviewed it, and it all looks hunky-dunky. And then I go over here to my attachments, and there's my final project right there. So now I want to, get it joined up with the code. So I'll have to look for the code. So I'll have to set, show code folder. And he says it's, oh boy, Grants Arduino Dialer DTMF Gen Master. That's a terrible name, but there it is. So probably I either move this up, right, DTMF. Here's the zip file already. It's already got a zip file. That's cool. So what I'll do is I'll go to, I was going to make a zip file, but I see I already have one. So that's cool. I'll put that into attachments as well. Paste. Replace. And so now I've got a zip file and a movie somewhere in here. Okay. MV. Final project movie into foo. MV. I guess it was called something about DTMF. Let's see. ls star.zip. Type into more. It's called, there it is, Audio Shield DTMF.zip. So we'll move that into Audio Shield DTMF.zip, goes into foo. LTD units of foo. And now I'm going to make another thing. I'm going to call it final. And I'm going to move my zip into final. And then I'll move my movie to the final. And now I've got my final project in something called final. Right, that's good, right? I can zip the whole thing if I like. Zip minus R, final.zip, whoops, and then put in final, and that should work. Now I have one big thing, final.zip, and it's not so big actually, less than a megabyte. It's not a big movie either. I could upload the whole thing that way. Or I guess I could upload two things. I could upload the, actually, maybe that's better. I think I can upload these two files, the code and the movie. If I upload those two separately, then that's probably the best way to do it. I'm not sure. Does Blackboard let you upload two files in response to an assignment?
Depends on the submission box.
All right. So I'm not real sure what happens if I turn this off, edit mode off, and then I go in here and click on the assignment. Can I save? How do I submit an answer to the assignment? Browse local files. So I browse local files. What does that buy me? Foo, final. So can I do both? Oh, I can do both. This is easy. So I hit open, and then it looks like both can be attached, and then I can submit. Bang, I'm done. That's a great way to do it. I like that because then I don't have to combine the movie and the zip. And then if I just want to see your project run, I can run your movie and watch the movie and then assign a grade. And that makes life easy for me. So why not keep the movie separate from the code, just as a detail for submission, and then you can say what you want to about your stuff. And if I can see it running, that's great. If I can't, because you don't have a camera, well, life in the big city. I'm doing this lecture without a camera myself right now. I don't feel the need to show you my face, and you probably don't need to see it. So I'll hit cancel on that one because I don't need to submit this, and I'll go back to my edit mode.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Didn't you say that you wanted it in MP4 format, or is movie fine?
That's a good question. I think it did say MV4. If you make a new movie recording from the screen, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, my movie's done. And hit stop. All right, now I want to do, what can I do? Export? What does this do? Oh, it's still movie format. Well, I guess if you're on a Mac, that's the easy thing because that's what QuickTime does. QuickTime uses movie format. I don't know if QuickTime gives you the ability to do, let's see, save. There's no format selection. It's just everything's in MOV format. If I wanted to share to Vimeo, actually, you could probably send me a link with a Vimeo or a YouTube if you want to. I don't know if you guys really want to upload your final project to YouTube, but if you wanted to upload it to YouTube and send me a YouTube link, I'd watch it. If you wanted to, upload to Vimeo, I do that all the time. And then Vimeo, that's going to that'll transcode everything to whatever format you like, and it'll let you view it in the browser. So this is a, I don't know, test. And I'm not going to make it personal. I'll hit publish. And then in principle, it'll give me a URL. If I click on it, it goes to the URL, and now it's converting. So then it's converting everything in the cloud, which I guess that's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that as long as it works. Don't send me a link that doesn't work because that's not going to help. So this actually is not bad. You can sort of see it's a little bit slow. But when I look at my videos, oh look, it's 100% done already. I guess that's it. And does this work? I don't even know. That's it. I hate that movie. Okay. Can I delete this movie? I don't even know. Oh yeah, look at that. So let's delete the movie. And that's that. So there you have it. 2 ways to submit. You could submit using cloud facilities. You could submit with QuickTime. I don't know what people have on a Windows computer anymore. What are people using on Windows to record the screen?
I recorded on my iPhone and then sent it over email to my desktop, and then I just renamed the file as a MP4 file.
Well, you could record it on the iPhone and upload it to YouTube or Vimeo or whatever cloud facility you like, and that would be okay too. You could, you can always share a video on YouTube, I guess. I don't know if people here want to have their videos up on YouTube. It's a little bit too public. And besides which, it's just, I don't know, less than riveting, right? Because what are you making a video of? Touch tones coming out of a speaker? It's not like you can see anything. So, yeah, I'm not sure I'm crazy about the idea of uploading to YouTube, but it is convenient. So you can certainly do that if you want to. Any other questions? Really? No questions? Yeah, so I'm sorry about the keywords thing. I thought we understood how keywords worked in the Arduino. Keywords for Arduino IDE. I'll just Google it real quick. We have time. How to add keywords. There's a keywords.txt on the IDE database. Description rules. Maybe maybe this is not, I don't want to call it begin and maybe it should all be keyword 1. Look what they did. They didn't renumber the keywords.
Oh, Professor, I remember looking at this. Keyword 1, I think, is the bold type, and keyword 2 is the non-bold type, I think. Or it could be the other way around.
Okay. That sort of seems okay, but when we did this, show sketch folder and then keywords, and let's make everything keyword 1, okay? I mean, why wouldn't we had keyword 1 for DTMF and it didn't take. Let's make everything keyword 1. I don't care. And then hit save, but it's still not sticking, right? I mean, that's the key. Like, so I quit out of this, and then I quit out of that. Do I want to save it? Save? Don't save? Don't save. Oh, maybe I lost my edits. Oh well, too bad. Yeah, you see DTMF is still not sticking. So it's not reading the keywords. So where are the keywords supposed to appear? When we use the IDE library file, I think it only works when you're reading it in as a library. That seems to be the key. It has to be a library file. I don't know. Maybe that's the answer. It only works when you read it as a library file, and that's why it hasn't been working lately. The only other thing I can think of that might be an issue is maybe I'm using a space instead of a tab. I just don't know. Let's go in here and put in tab. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's it. Nope, that's the tab is just doing something interesting. Sometimes you have to screw around with this stuff a little bit, and I hate to use class time on that. So I'm not going to spend another iteration on this. If it doesn't work this time, I'll just explore it some more. Because it was working when I installed it as a library, but it's not working when I just run it as the IDE. And that tells me it needs to be in a library. Yeah, this needs to be in a library. That's the problem. So if I read it in as a library, it should work. And the end of that sentence is, I hope. John, was that you who chimed in that you said it had to be part of the... I don't know why this is giving me a hard time. Huh, fun. So I don't know the answer to the question about the keywords. I think it has to be in a library. It says the keywords file is fussy. Dates has to be followed by a tab, then keyword 1. I think that's what I did. So I'll read up on that a little bit more. Any other questions about the assignment? No questions? How about questions about the final for the course? Any questions about the final? I kind of went over that one in pretty good detail. All right. Well, listen, I'm not going to belabor the thing with the keywords. I'll do some research on it, and then I'll get back to you guys, and we'll find out how to make this work. But don't get hung up on keywords. I'm having problems with it. And so if you're having problems with it, just forget about the keywords and just proceed to submit the final project and get it done by tonight. Anybody have any troubles, you think, getting it done by tonight? All right, then. I thank you very much for your time. I think that just about wraps things up for us. Enjoy the rest of the day and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.